NBC national poll, Bernie Sanders has tightened the race to a statistical tie with Hillary Clinton. She is at 50%. He is at 48%. And that same poll, that same NBC poll of voters shows 56% hold a negative opinion of Hillary Clinton and 32% hold a positive opinion, while 36% hold a negative opinion of Bernie Sanders and 45% have a positive opinion of him. That is a national poll, national voters, both parties, independents, everything. Joining us now, Barney Frank, former congressman from Massachusetts, Hillary Clinton supporter, and Nina Turner, former Ohio state senator and a Bernie Sanders supporter. Barney Frank, I want to start with you tonight, and I don't normally talk about polls. I prefer to talk about issues, but there's the electability issue, which has been argued throughout this campaign, and the Clinton campaign has argued that she is basically more electable in the general election than Bernie Sanders. The polls don't support that. But that was the argument that was made by the Clinton campaign against the Obama campaign in 2008. They were wrong then. Do you think that's an important argument for the Clinton campaign to be leaning on, or is it just something that they should ignore and stay with issues?
It's a factor. I admire your desire to talk about issues. I hope you get back to it. The only one who thinks that she would have a better chance in November as things evolve. So do the Republicans. You will notice, and this is one of the reasons why her negatives are high, the Republicans have focused on her. They've been trying to weaken her. It is clear they would love to have Senator Sanders. Senator Sanders legitimately complained early on he wasn't getting enough attention, but there's this flip side to that for him, in that the negatives against him that the Republicans will be able to use. Now, let me say, if he's a nominee, I will be an enthusiastic campaigner for him. But on the other hand, there are negatives the Republicans can use. But I also am troubled by Senator Sanders' increasing negative turn in this campaign, including not just on the issues, but saying that Hillary Clinton can't be trusted. In the first place, the arguments he used would apply to Barack Obama, obviously. They would have applied to Senator Ted Kennedy. I can't think of a liberal leader, a Democrat who was fighting hard for change, Nancy Pelosi, John Lewis, any, who wouldn't be disqualified in that same argument. And here's the reason, I think, a major reason, the polls. If you ask the Clinton people, overwhelmingly, they will tell you they're going to vote for Sanders, and they approve of Sanders. I am disappointed, and the New York Times mentioned this, I think there's been a turn in the Sanders rhetoric away from the issue differences, more to claiming that somehow she's going to be soft and not prosecute because she's been corrupted by money for which she has no evidence. And so a lot of the Sanders people are saying they wouldn't vote for Clinton. In other words, and I think that will turn over. I think, well, people are angry now. When you get to November, that's going to change. Hillary Clinton, to her credit, made very sure in 2008 that women who were disappointed that she didn't get the nomination voted for Barack Obama. And if Hillary Clinton is nominated, I'm hoping Senator Sanders will do the same, but he's making it harder for himself by the sharp edge of his rhetoric.
Nina Turner, go ahead.
Well, Lawrence, I mean, some of what the Democratic Party has to realize, what we all have to realize, is that this is a disruption election. That people on both the left and the right are tired of the status quo. They're tired of establishment-type politics. And the fact that some of Senator Sanders' supporters are saying overwhelmingly that they will not support the secretary has more to do with their commitment and loyalty to Senator Bernie Sanders and not a commitment and loyalty to a political party. People are fed up with it, and parties exist to support the people. Senator Bernie Sanders has been honest, and he has been consistent throughout his career. He has been a champion, and he hasn't changed his mind based on convenience. So there's nothing to be confused or concerned about. Every single vote must be earned. So whether it is Senator Sanders who is the victor or whether it's Secretary Clinton, they both have to earn the other people's votes. And the Democratic Party would be wise to not just assume that people are just going to come one person's way or another just because of a party allegiance.
Barney Frank,
Well, I'm surprised.
Go ahead, Barney.
I'm surprised at that comment. We're not talking about
Well, don't
party
be
allegiance.
surprised.
I'm sorry, please let me respond. I am not just talking about party allegiance. I'm talking about who gets to name the Supreme Court justice. If a Democrat wins, whether it's Hillary Clinton or Bernie Sanders, we'll get Citizens United overturned. We'll get Roe v. campaign finance. We have to get the Supreme Court. Will the minimum wage be raised? The fact is, there are real differences between the parties, and you say the establishment. No, John Lewis is not the establishment, Congressman John Lewis. Every member, every gay and lesbian member is for Hillary Clinton. Overwhelmingly, the Congressional Black Caucus and the Congressional Hispanic Caucus are for Hillary Clinton. Planned Parenthood is for Hillary Clinton. These aren't people in the establishment. Now, we'll all vote for Sanders. But the point is that we believe she has been and will be a more effective change agent. And the economy had almost justified.
We're going to squeeze in a quick break here, and Nina will come back with your response right after this. More with Barney Frank and Nina Turner after this break.
It's more than a network in the cloud. It's reliable uptime and multi-layered security. It's how you stay connected to each other and to your customers. With CenturyLink, you get advanced technology solutions, including an
We're back with Hillary Clinton supporter Barney Frank and Bernie Sanders supporter Nina Turner. And Nina Turner, you were in mid-sentence when we went to that commercial. Go ahead.
I was, Lawrence. I just find it amazing that the congressman continues to bring up the Black Caucus. This is the same Black Caucus who in 2008, most of the members did not support then Senator Barack Obama. They didn't believe he had the experience or the momentum, but momentum won in the end. These are the same folks now who are now riding the coattails of now President Barack Obama. Let's talk about what can be accomplished and what Senator Bernie Sanders has accomplished throughout his career. It is really quite shameful that the Clinton campaign is trying to disqualify him based on the fact of the matter is that as mayor of Burlington, he got a lot done. As a congressman, he got a lot done. We know that he was considered the amendment king from 1995 to 2000 because he had more floor amendments than any other member of Congress getting things done. And let's talk about, again, that veterans bill that he worked hand in hand with Senator John McCain. So Senator Bernie Sanders can get things done. What he is refusing to do is settle for incremental progress. When people are poor, when they are down and out, when they need help, when they need uplift, they want somebody that is not going to equivocate. They want somebody that's going to be a champion. And that champion is Senator Bernie Sanders. And we have to understand that in today's environment, with a corrupt campaign finance system, with a rigged economy, that people are looking for that kind of leader that says yes on 15, not yes on 12, and then stand up next to the governor of New York to sign one for 15. Somebody that is going to go out on the picket line, but also knows how to get things done in their official capacity, and that's Senator Bernie Sanders. There's no doubt about it, and that's why nationally, going head to head against every single Republican, Senator Bernie Sanders beats every Republican, leaps and bounds ahead of Secretary Clinton. So if Democrats want to win in November, they need to make sure that the nominee is Senator Bernie Sanders.
Barney Frank, you mentioned earlier that when Bernie Sanders criticizes Hillary Clinton's fundraising methods for her campaign, those are the same methods used by honorable politicians like Ted Kennedy, Barack Obama, John Lewis, Nancy Pelosi. Those are the names you mentioned. But not one of them ever took $1 in a speaking fee from Goldman Sachs, never mind $22 million in speaking fees over a 2-year period, because, as you know, for every one of them, that would have been illegal. That would have got them expelled from the House of Representatives or expelled from the Senate. Why is it, if this money is so innocent, if it is so innocent to make more in 1 hour than a senator's yearly salary in a speech to Goldman Sachs, if that's innocent, why can't senators do it? Why can't members of Congress do it?
Oh, you can't do the notion that you have the same freedom to earn money outside of Congress and in. That surprises me, Lawrence. I think for rhetorical purposes, you've posed a question you know the answer to. There are very strict rules and limits of what you can do as a member of Congress.
But Barney, what I'm asking is,
I'm sorry, Lawrence, I want to respond.
Why do we have those limits, and why wouldn't Hillary Clinton have observed them for herself?
She did observe them for herself. This is more the suggestion that somehow she did something wrong. Yes, she did observe them for herself. She did not take a penny. She abided by the rules when she was there. Many members of Congress do things that they are legally allowed to do. The rule is that you do not want the actual decision-making being influenced. By the way, on the question, and I thought Dana Bash asked a very good question to Senator Sanders, point to one example where Hillary Clinton's having taken money, campaign or otherwise, influenced her policy, and he couldn't come up with one. He had no answer to that. In fact, there's an ad that he has, which really troubles me because it's McCarthyite. It says, oh look, Goldman Sachs wasn't sufficiently punished. And then it says, in effect, no wonder people get speaking fees from Goldman Sachs. There is zero connection there. Hillary Clinton, as Secretary of State, well before she took speaking fees, had no control of that. That's an attack on the Obama administration. And while we're at it, I do want to respond how disappointed I am.
It's not an attack on the Obama administration.
I'm sorry. It was
Why do you guys continue to bring up?
Lawrence,
President Obama is not running for the presidency of the United States of America again. He's not running.
Lawrence, what are the rules here?
All right,
Let me say,
go ahead, Barney. Take
that's
30
obviously a
seconds.
vulnerability that Ms. Turner feels because she was trying to bring in Obama. The point is this: if you attack the people who did not bring charges against Goldman Sachs or any others, or didn't do them sufficiently, you're attacking the Obama administration. They were in charge of this. The president had appointed the Attorney General. That was the Obama administration. And I was very sorry to hear her denigrate the Congressional Black Caucus. And frankly, I'm troubled by this.
I did not denigrate the Congressional Black Caucus.
I'm sorry, please, Lawrence, what are the rules about the interruptions?
Oh my
I wish
God.
you wouldn't do that. I heard you would denigrate the Black Caucus. You said, oh, they were just riding the coattails. You just said that. Go back and look at your transcript. What I'm afraid of is, and this is part of the problem, that the Sanders campaign, their frustration, and by the way, Hillary Clinton got many more votes than Senator Sanders up to date. She can get more tomorrow. I hope Senator Sanders doesn't evolve into Ralph Nader, and that people don't forget what happened in 2000, and we don't again lose a chance to take over the Supreme Court and make social progress because of this kind of absolutism.
All right, we are out of time for tonight. I just want to clarify, Barney, we kind of talked past each other for a moment there. When we come back to this subject again, I do want to talk about the speaking fees and what I'm saying about it, what I'm questioning.
Why would you bring that up when I can't answer it?
Lawrence, and I in no way denigrated.
All right. I'm going to say good night to the guests. Nina Turner and Barney Frank. Thank you both very much for joining us.
Thank
really
you.
Appreciate it. We will continue this conversation on another night. The point that I was making about the speaking fees was simply this. If they are a completely innocent exercise, if you can go and easily give speeches to big banks and corporate interests and all of that, and it's a totally innocent exercise to do that, and no one should ever be suspect or questioning what's involved in that, then why? Why did we ever make it against the rules for senators and congressmen and presidents or any federal official to do that? That was my simple point. I think it's a larger discussion that we don't have time for tonight. It isn't particularly relevant to where this discussion is right now in the campaign, but it is a larger discussion. We'll have it another time. Up next, both of those Democratic candidates finally did visit public housing in New York.
Jordan and Chelsea were searching for the